So, dear friends, dear students, welcome to this session on practical wireframe production using Balsamiq. Balsamiq is the numero uno, the intuitive and the easy software available in the market to prepare wireframes. Wireframe as a output or wireframe as a technique to develop requirements to understand what we try to build in terms of software for a project or what we try to build for product is a very key technique and essential technique which we expect from our business analysts, our product managers, our development managers or delivery managers, etc. So it is a must, it has become a must-have technique today. So today's session is going to be a fruitful session in a sense that in a short time period of something like 1.5 to 2 hours, you will be able to understand the wireframe technique and you will also be able to come up with some outputs. So part 2 of this session is on preparing practical wireframes using Balsamiq, wherein I will show you a very simple home screen of an Apple iPhone, which is linked with a login and a password login screen and a registration screen or a sign up screen, and we will prepare a home page for a popular payments website. So we will learn Balsamiq through some practical activities, and I will also make you familiar with the user interface. But for now, let us focus on what are wireframes, what are mockups, and what are prototypes. All of you who have been exposed to this technique, that is wireframe preparation, please send me a yes. Otherwise, just send me a no, so I will have a measure of who among those are newbies and who are here to basically hone up this skill. So whatever be the case, once I have that measure, I'll try to formulate or I'll try to align my lecture in that sense. Also, if you have any specific question which you would like me to ask, or if you have come here with a specific question in mind which you would like me to address, just send that question to me. And I will basically, time to time or at an opportune or an apt moment, I will address that question. So the webinar starts now. Before that, what I'll do, I'll just see if there is anything which wants my attention. So for that, I'll just check the questions pane. So just I will have a look there and then we will move ahead. So almost 50-50%. So some of you are exposed to this and some of you are new to wireframes. Whatever be the case, I think I have something good for you to offer. Second thing, which is for now, please be a bit attentive and just as and when you find time, just write what your current role is and what your objective is. In terms of you see your career progression for next 6 months, 12 months, or next 1 to 2 years. It can be a promotion, it can be switching over to a new role, or even switching over to a new industry. So let us start now, and I will basically, if you have a question, just write that and I'll answer. So we start with the topic, practical wireframe preparation using Balsamiq. So part 1 of the session, we are here. What are wireframes? What are mockups? And what are prototypes? Sometimes we use these 3 words interchangeably. That is a wireframe, a mockup, and a prototype. But I'll try to provide you a clear distinction between these 3 outputs and how and where these outputs can be used. So let us start with what are wireframes. So wireframes are a skeletal sketch of the user interface of the software to be built. So these are skeletal sketches. So when we say skeletal, they do not have much detail. They do not have much detail in terms of color or in terms of vividity. These are skeletal sketches. They do not have color. They are gray and white, and they capture the UI of the software which we are going to build. So a software is getting developed. We capture what we are going to develop through multiple outputs. Many of those outputs are, you see, documentation outputs. Say we write a user story, say we write a vision statement, we prepare a business requirement document. So here is yet another view. This view is a visual view, and this view covers how the user interface of the software is going to come up when the software is going to be delivered. So a wireframe is a very good requirements development technique because the client is having some upfront idea of what we are developing. They are developed at the start of the user interface design process. So when we develop software, you see so many activities happen simultaneously, and so many activities happen one after another. So right at the project start phase, we start with the UI design. So this, even within UI design, they are developed at the start of the UI design process. When I first heard this word wireframe, now I do not remember whether it was 15 years or 20 years back, this came to my mind. So being an engineer, I thought it is some skeleton and something like a frame on which a building is to come up. So, but for the wireframe, when it comes to software industry, it is about the outer look. And now this with the help of this outer interface, you see we try to interact, or outer interface or the user interface or the graphic user interface. The end user interacts with the software and accomplish the goals which the end user would like to accomplish. So wireframes capture how visual surface connects with the underlying information. So when we interact with the software, what you see is a PowerPoint software on the screen. If I am to interact with this software, I interact through the user interface. I am utilizing this webinar or an online meeting or an online webinar solution. So it has provided me with multiple icons, buttons through which I can accomplish multiple goals. Say I can record this meeting. Say I can mute or unmute a attendee. I can answer the questions and so many other things which I can do, which is part of the functionality or the feature set of the software. So when we are developing software as a team, we develop these wireframes so that we have a view of what may come up at a later stage. So it is an early view. See, a wireframe, as I mentioned you, is a skeletal sketch. So say we are developing some website or a web portal. Now, as a requirements expert, as a business analyst, as a product manager, you are discussing this requirement, say with the client or with the prospective end users, or say you are brainstorming within yourself. And now when you decide, then you come up with a view that say have a focus on this screen. Say on the top left, there will be a logo, a banner towards top right, and then there are going to be multiple areas. So say here is this area where we will showcase our sponsor. A navigation will be provided here. So now you can guess, to prepare a skeletal sketch like this or to place boxes like these are a relatively easier activity and an activity which takes lesser effort and which can even be revised if required. So quick revision, if we were to change our mind, or if the client provides us some other input, or if while we brainstorm, if the team decides something else, maybe we decide that the sponsor's content will not go here on the left side, but it will come on the right side. So to revise a wireframe is so quick, and our objective is to prepare working software. So that is our objective. So to accomplish this objective, we have prepared a wireframe, and the final software may look something like this. So as a business analyst, as a product manager, as a delivery manager, as a requirements expert, your job is to come up with something like this. The UI team, user interface team, the UX professionals, they will come up with a final output which may resemble like the final software. So this is a wireframe. And we have multiple softwares through which we can prepare wireframes. We can use Balsamiq, the popular software which we are going to learn today. Visio is also a popular software to utilize and to prepare wireframes, because you see Visio is one single software through which you can prepare so many modeling outputs. Then you can use softwares like Figma or Adobe XD. So multiple softwares are available in the market, more than many. Pencil is there, wireframe.io is there, multiple software. But the concept is that we will come up with the rough skeletal gray and white UI. This UI will be utilized, or the look of the user interface or the view of the user interface will be utilized so that multiple stakeholders can discuss it and they revise it. And deliberately, this output is kept a bit raw so that no one should mistake it for the final UI of the software, and everyone should feel free to provide his or her suggestion for the revision. So this is a wireframe, gray and white, and skeletal sketch of the software to be developed. Moving ahead. Just send me a yes if you can hear me and you can see me clearly. Okay. So before I take you to a little more on what are wireframes, allow me to revisit the user interface design phases. And within these user interface design phases, I will explain to you what is going to be your role as a business analyst or as a product manager. So phase 1 is research. Phase 2 is information architecture. Phase 3 is visual design. And phase 4 is delivery. So research, what gets into research? So research has more to do with users, features of the software, the specifications, the goals which a user would like to accomplish through software. So say, for example, for this net meeting or a webinar solution, one goal is to share the screen. One goal is to share the video. So to switch on the video or to switch off the video, to mute or unmute an attendee, to share a webcam. So all these are goals. For an attendee, a goal should be to talk to the webinar presenter. For that, he requires a feature so that he can raise his hand. So all these are goals. And users are basically the persona of the end user who are going to utilize this software. So a webinar solution like the one GoToWebinar which we are using right now, the persona of the user may be a graduate or a postgraduate who is working in a company and who is basically either participating in a meeting or participating in a industry webinar or participating in a training session. So associated with users is user demography, user goals, and user persona. So we do not jump to prepare the wireframe right away. We identify the users for that particular project. We identify the persona and we identify the goals. All this is part of the research activity. So as a business analyst, as a UI expert, as a product manager, more than many people, many individuals from different roles prepare wireframes. So that is why I am using multiple roles. So prepare have to conduct this user research and have to come up with features. Second part of the user interface design process is information architecture. So it is the hierarchy in which the information will flow for your website or for your web app. So this is the hierarchical flow of information or hierarchical flow of pages as the user will try to accomplish the goal. So this is the information architecture. So here we prepare task flow diagrams or basically flow charts, which allow us to understand how the application will flow. Then here, the output, which is part of the information architecture, is also wireframes. So it is during this research phase and it is during this information architecture phase while we develop a UI as a business analyst or as a product manager, you are expected to come up with your outputs. So then as the UI design activity will proceed or move ahead, there is visual design. So visual design has to do something with graphics. So when I say graphics, we may, for our application, we may have to prepare maybe some logos, some icons, some other graphics, mockups. So mockup and wireframe as a word are many a times used interchangeably, but there is a difference. Wireframes are gray and white. Mockups have color and vividity. So mockups will resemble more towards the actual solution user interface which we are going to build. So mockup preparation is part of the UI team or the UI professional. Then there are assets and specs. You see, we can't include a graphic or we can't include a mockup or an image like that. So for that, you see, there are certain, these assets and specs are, you see, files in form of certain outputs. So say, for example, for some projects, we call them as PSD files, which then get integrated right into the application code, or with the help of these assets and specs, we are able to integrate the user interface with the underlying code, underlying databases, and the information flow is complete. So these are the 4 phases. Our job when we will prepare wireframes is more towards this side. That is research and information architecture. Understand the user goals, come up with a UI or come up with a wireframe which should help us achieve these goals optimally for this user or this user persona. So this is our activity. And this might be your output. First, look for a wireframe. So say your organization is preparing a mobile app for a client. Now, to prepare a mobile app is a full team activity. And say you are the person who is to interact with the client to understand the fine goals of this mobile app. And you are the person who has to come up with requirement documents, requirement models, requirement visuals, or wireframes. So you can come up with visuals like these using a software like Balsamiq, and this does not require any kind of programming capability. All you need is basically appreciation of the UI design process, understanding of the UI elements, and knowledge of a software like Balsamiq, wherein you can just pick and choose the right widget or the right interface, do a drag and drop. So these are the first looks for a wireframe. This is something what you are expected to prepare. So someone has mentioned sketches are more or less similar to mockups. No, that is not the case. Typically, when someone will sketch, unless he is a trained artist or a very exceptional painter, he will not be able to come up with good visuals with color. Mockups have color. Mockups have vividity. Mockups, when we prepare mockup, a high fidelity mockup will be very similar to the final UI or the final UI of the software. Moving ahead. So wireframes capture how the visual surface connects with the underlying information. What you see here on the screen, if you see now this part, this is the UI of the Balsamiq software. The white part, which is known as the canvas where my cursor is right now, it is where we are developing the wireframe, and then various elements or widgets which are available here where the cursor is being kept right now. We just drag and drop those elements and we try to come up with the user interface. And then this is, as you may guess, revising a wireframe requires much lesser effort compared to, say, revising a mockup. So even before we prepare a mockup or even before we show the client the final software, we share with him the wireframe. The client understands that, look, this is not a final solution, this is not a final recommendation, this is subject to discussion, and we use this as a requirements development technique. So first looks of a wireframe. And why only wireframe? You also see the output in a sense that you are seeing the Balsamiq mockup screen also. And I am sending it to you. The link from where you can download Balsamiq right now, www.balsamiq.com/download. You can download it from here. So those who do not have access to the Balsamiq software, it will take 2-3 minutes to download now. And in the second part of the lecture, when we will take up practical exercises, you can follow me. Another question. Firstly, in my company, there are no UI designers. As a business analyst, I am using Balsamiq frequently in my company, but my ideas do not seem to be as effective and lacks the user friendliness or user experience. Clients during demo give me example of apps like Starbucks, Geeko, Best Buy, etc. How do I overcome this problem to come close to the precision with my work? So, Vatsalya, I think you are quite clear in what the challenge which you are facing right now. In fact, so many of us may face this challenge because our clients today are exposed to world-class software. Everyone is using apps from, you see, companies like Facebook or LinkedIn or WhatsApp. So the client expectations are very high. Now, this is two things may happen. If you are a bit conscious, then with every next project you will improve. So you need some kind of practice, some kind of consciousness, one thing. Second, if you would like to really improve upon your UI and UX skills, because let's say you are a business analyst right now. If you are a business analyst right now, then you have to do so many activities, not only UI or UX. So you have to write requirement documents, you have to write user stories, you have to prepare BPM models. So it is likely that you may not be excellent in all the departments. So UI UX, as you have mentioned, is one such area, and your company is not also having UI designers who can finish your output. So, but if you have real interest in this area, there are multiple courses which are available. Google has got one such course for user and UI and UX design. And you can go to Balsamiq website, balsamiq.com website. And on that website, you see they have provided very many resources, very many examples. So all you need to do some homework upfront so that you are better prepared next time. And I'm sure after 5, 7, 10 projects, you will be a very different person when it comes to these outputs. And to repeat again, you are right that client expectations can be so many. As a business analyst or a PM, what kind of rough figure should I prepare? So you should prepare a wireframe to give it to a client or intern. So as a BA or a PM, you should prepare a wireframe. So what is a wireframe? At the cost of repetition, it is a basic visual guide used in software UI design to suggest the layout of fundamental elements in the user interface. So we will try to finalize the UI, or we will try to come up with the rough sketch of the UI, and we will place the elements of the user interface on that UI. So preparation of wireframes is taken up at the beginning of the user interface design process, and it is a skeletal sketch of the software or web application to be developed. When we are focusing on wireframes, there is some vocabulary which you should be aware of. UI stands for user interface. CUI stands for character user interface. GUI stands for graphic user interface. UX is user experience. And then when we develop our applications, when we develop our apps, when we develop websites, there are two types of outputs or apps: a responsive website or an adaptive website. I'll explain the difference between the two. In fact, today, when we prepare our apps or our web applications or softwares, every website or every app should be responsive in nature. Some situations require an adaptive website also. So just wait for a few minutes wherein I am able to demonstrate what is responsive and what is adaptive. Then sketches. A sketch, as you may guess, that using pen and paper, using pencil and paper, those who have, you see, good artistic capability, you can prepare the sketch of the UI as you think, as the client would have intimated to you, and then you can then show the sketch, and then this sketch can be improved upon. Wireframe. Now you know wireframes are skeletal sketches which represent the UI to be developed. Mockups. Mockups have color, mockups have vividity, and they resemble the final user interface. A high fidelity mockup will resemble the final user interface. A low fidelity or a medium fidelity mockup is lesser in detail. Prototypes. Prototypes, in addition to detail, also have interactivity. So wireframes do not have interactivity beyond, you see, some simple hyperlinking between two pages. Mockups have color, and then they also lack interactivity. So if we prepare an interactive prototype, then it means we can also test the user experience, how, as and when the user will interact with this software, how is going to be his user experience. So this is a bit of vocabulary for this domain. So a UI or user interface for an ATM machine. So as you could see and as you could guess, depending upon the goal, depending upon the situation, the user interface which we develop may be different. Machines which were being utilized early on in 80s, in 90s, and some of these applications and some of these mainframe machines and their user interfaces still continue. So what you see here is a character user interface or a CUI screen. So GUI, CUI. This is again a GUI screen or an example of a GUI screen straight from 90s. Today we expect much more from the graphic user interface. As end users, even if we are to if we come across an application which doesn't have a very intuitive and a very contemporary GUI, we feel a bit let down. Now let us understand what is a responsive layout. So today, whatever web app or mobile app or application which we will build has to have a responsive layout. This has become almost compulsory. So what is responsive? You see, we are accessing our application via multiple screens. So, and these screens have multiple screen sizes. So I am taking this class or this webinar right now using a laptop. You may be attending this session using an iPhone or an iPad or an Android device via a mobile app. So people are using multiple screen sizes. So say we build a website. Now, if you open that website using a browser on your mobile phone, and if I open that website on a 15-inch mobile, 15-inch iPad, 15-inch say desktop or a 15-inch laptop, the screen should, what shall I say, the screen should re-alter itself optimally. See this. So have a look. So right now we are seeing this on a computer screen. So I have recorded this video for, so this is the output for Microsoft Forms. Moment we see the same quiz on a mobile phone, the quiz is being displayed in an optimal manner and the screen which we have developed is responsive. You can open the website www.qbi.in, which is the website for our training programs, business analysis, product management, Scrum, payments, insurance domain training programs. I suggest you open this website on a mobile phone, and you also open a website on a iPad, and you also open this website on a PC or a laptop with a larger screen right now and see how the website alters itself so that what is being displayed in an optimal manner. This is a responsive website. So I give you a time and you can just check this. So someone has mentioned people often use wireframes, mockups, and prototypes pretty interchangeably. Yes, Mr. Chaudhary, that is the fact, but I have told you the difference. Wireframes are gray and white. They lack interactivity. Mockups have color and vividity. They also lack interactivity. Prototypes have interactivity. A prototype development software is Axure, AXURE. So it is a very popular prototype development software. It is available in the market, a pretty premium software. It is also available for a 30-day trial period. You can use it. So I hope by now all of you have checked the qbi.in website and you are able to understand what a responsive layout is. Someone asked me what is Axure RP. So RP stands for responsive prototypes. Moving ahead. Adaptive. So different websites for different screen sizes are prepared. So now you see screen sizes can be more than many. We cannot prepare screen sizes for every other different website for every other screen size through which the user is accessing our application or the user is accessing our app. So what we do, say for example, say we have two website or web portals, all the individuals who are accessing this portal with a device size of less than 10.5 inches, say access website A, or all the individuals who are accessing the portal or the app with device size more than 10.5 inches, direct to website B. And even in this case, both A and B will be responsive portals or responsive applications. Whenever you see something like this, https.m.website.com, you may guess that it is an adaptive design. So you can open the Snapdeal website, www.snapdeal.com, right now using a regular laptop and using your mobile phone. See how the website opens up, and then you may also be able to guess that this website is, these are two different portals which we access. So an adaptive website in all likelihood will be responsive as well. Another question, facing challenges while working on wireframes. Is there any website for practicing wireframes or mockups? So very many resources are available on the balsamiq.com website, and it is one such portal or one such software which is so intuitive. So I suggest that you use that website. There are so many learning resources out there. Be a bit patient, invest some hours, and I am sure within no time you will see for yourself that your outputs have come to a very professional level. www.balsamiq.com. Moving ahead. So wireframes allow collaboration. Now all of you know what a wireframe is. Just for the benefit of those who might have joined a bit late, wireframes are outputs like these. We develop these UI outputs for the benefit to develop our requirements. We can share these outputs with our clients, with other internal team members. We can revise them as per feedback. Revising an image like this is so easy compared to revising the final software. So wireframes allow collaboration. So people on the business side, the development team, the client, the UI/UX team can collaborate, and this is a common point wherein we can discuss. While we see the UI, we can discuss what are the goals which the users of this software are planning to accomplish, and whether the UI which we are developing is intuitive, and we may even guess a bit about the user experience. Though, as I have mentioned, since wireframes lack interactivity, we cannot capture user experience in this. So wireframes allow collaboration. It provides you the first impression of the application to be built. Even before you see the first release, you get the impression of what is in store. Clients can respond and think better. Quick convergence of thoughts. It is a proven technique to aid product/application user interface design. Not only is a proven technique, it has become a must-have technique. If you appear for any business analyst position, if you aspire for a product manager role, if you aspire for a solutions expert role, this is an skill which you must possess. So quick to change, easy to express difficult ideas, early view of the UI. Rework can be done so quickly. Only thing is you cannot test usability or user experience in wireframe. almost every project requires us to prepare wireframes, software applications, mobile applications, web portals, and it can be used practically for all software projects. Certain kind of projects like mobile app development, web portal development. You see, the client, the BA, the requirements expert, the product manager, we need to rely upon these outputs more than any other output. If the our end product has got, you see, very high amount of visual content. Moving ahead. So these are the applications. Who will prepare a wireframe? Business analysts, GUI designers, product managers, requirement engineers, product owners. So if this is going to be your role, if you aspire for this position, if you want to move ahead in your career in this role, please, please, please get your hands dirty, install a software like Balsamiq, and devote n number of hours before you need to produce your output on a real project. Because when you are to prepare output on a project, you should have done your homework earlier. Time flies and everything is a bit late when we are preparing, coming up with outputs in a live project. So you do not get enough time. So how do we prepare a wireframe? You can sketch it. That's fine. If you are someone who has taken up a sketching course while in school, you will be good in sketching this also. You will catch this up. If you have a digital pad, iPad, a Samsung tab with pen or a stylus, you can use it. Again, you will require sketching skills. Use a wireframe or a prototype development software like Balsamiq or Vijay or wireframe.io, so Figma, so many others. In absence of anything else, you can even use PowerPoint. I'll show. Or why only PowerPoint? Even using Excel, you can prepare a wireframe. So use a graphic design software like CorelDRAW. This is more applicable to UI professionals. So sketching a wireframe using pen and paper. And everyone, we are just building up this part 1 of the lecture. By the time we move to part 2 in another 15-20 minutes, we will be getting our hands dirty. So be a bit, all those who already know what wireframes are, be a bit patient. So we can sketch using pen and paper. Something like this. So this is the output which I have taken from this website, oneextrapixel.com. Some solutions expert or some product manager which is building an application for a soft platform which suggests, you see, preferred meal plans, routines, better health to its clients. So what this product manager has done, he has prepared a rough UI using pen or pencil, and now this UI or this wireframe is subject to discussion. So other team members can give him an output. So this is a sketch. Again, this is a sketch. You can add comments. You can, using these arrows, the yellow arrows, you can see how the flow happens when a particular person has to carry out a role in the software. You can add comments, something like this, say weekly of Thursday and Friday. This is a wireframe prepared through software. So we will prepare this wireframe. We will come up with some outputs. So at the very basic level, if you can observe, these are, if you can see, multiple rectangles or squares within a square or containers within a container. So this is the outermost container, is that of a browser. Within that browser container, there is a header area. In the header area, you can do a search. There are these buttons, and then this is the area where your web page is. So this is how you can build your wireframe. We will see it quickly. See this. Have a look at this output. What I have done, in absence of any other software, though we will be using Balsamiq, but I am just showing you the possibility. In absence of any other software, I have just used PowerPoint. You may guess what I have done. So all these are either icons which are available in the icons area here, or these are rectangles in which what I have done, I have provided a fill, a line and a color. If you do not have any other software, just use this. See, something like this. So this is the fill, shape fill. This is the shape outline. And then we have used multiple rectangles so that we can come up with our output. We were talking about mockups. So I have told you that mockup has got a color. So what you see here is a responsive web mockup. The very same site, if you open up in devices which have multiple screen sizes, the application will re-alter itself optimally. So I hope by now the difference between a mockup and a wireframe is clear to each of you. Just send me a yes if this clarity has reached you. People may use these words synonymously. That's fine, but we should be clear what the difference is. So when we prepare a wireframe, what are the elements which are there? So because it is these elements which will make up our wireframe. So these elements include an image placeholder, a video placeholder, logos, search fields, share buttons, breadcrumbs, etc. So what you see here on towards the top left on the screen is basically a rectangle or a square with two diagonal lines. Whenever you see this, this is the image placeholder. That means in the actual on this wireframe, we have shown an image placeholder. In the regular application, we will have a actual image shown here. This is what you see here towards the bottom left, where my cursor is right now. This is a video placeholder. So a video will come here. So these are some elements, common elements or common widgets which we utilize, which have a meaning and which signify something. So this is a video placeholder. So sketch, use pen and paper. Wireframe, use a software. Mockup, again use a software. Prototype can be low fidelity or high fidelity. Even mockups can be high fidelity or low fidelity. So fidelity translates to detail in design. A high fidelity mockup will be close to the real solution. If you check about what Visio claims about its outputs, they say that you can prepare medium fidelity mockups using Visio. That is what they claim. So this is something like a low fidelity or a medium fidelity mockup. What you see on the screen right now, it has color. I think it is towards low fidelity. We should not call it as a medium fidelity output. So this is the visual hierarchy. This will allow us to understand all the concepts. And now with this background, we will be ready to move ahead and we will be ready to learn concepts. We will be ready to come up with practical concepts. So sketch is sketched quickly on paper or on a digital pad. So this is sketch. Wireframe. Wireframes are gray and white made with software. Mockups have color and vividity. Please omit the word life, because life can be confused with interactivity. Prototype. Prototypes can be lo-fi or hi-fi, but have interactivity. So this is the visual hierarchy between sketch, wireframe, mockup, and prototype. So a wireframe may look like this. This is an image placeholder. So a placeholder wherein images will come. Anything if you see, that means this is an image will come in the regular application. A video placeholder. The video will come in the regular application. Now there are some more user interface controls which you need to be aware of. And these UI controls are available on the Balsamiq website. I'll take you there. Have a look at them. See, on your wireframe, you can have buttons, you can have text inputs, drop-down menus. So buttons we know, say for example, to submit, say our username and password to get into a web portal, to save something. So that is a button. Text input. So we may provide, you see, text inputs for, say, having a search, say providing our date of birth, providing a username or password. Drop-down menus. So all those, for those who are working in IT industry for some time, these buttons or these controls may look familiar to you. There are individuals who would like to move to IT industry in a product management or a business analyst role. I suggest you go through this page and just observe it. As someone who has been using a software, or as someone who has been using multiple outputs, all what you see here is not something which you would not have observed earlier, but you need to be a bit more clear. Just in case you feel that it is important, I am sharing this link with you, and you can visit this balsamiq.com website and have a view of all these UI controls. So say for example, radio button. A radio button is used wherein we have to provide a response wherein our ask is only exactly one of the multiple options, whereas a checkbox may be used wherein we may have more than one options to be utilized for. Numeric stoppers, sliders. Sliders are used for e-commerce sites. So all these are options which you may utilize. So I suggest all of you just go through these outputs whenever you have leisure time, these UI controls, and see what is useful to you and see how you can utilize them in your wireframes. Just have a look. And all these elements or widgets, they are available in the balsamiq.com widget library. So we will have a look when we move to that area. Charts, icons, audio and video players, images. I have shown you the image placeholder, maps, camera, text editors, etc. Moving ahead. So this is the final concept which we need to learn before we move ahead and we basically do some practical work in Balsamiq. A wireframe will capture structure. So structure means how and where the elements will be laid out on the UI. Content, yes, we can guess the content. If we know there is a video placeholder, we know a video will run. Information hierarchy, yes, there will be multiple wireframes or multiple pages. They will allow us to understand the information hierarchy. Functionality, yes, we will get to understand the goals. Behavior, so behavior of the software, or basically how the end user will experience, that we won't be able to capture in a wireframe. A prototype allows us to do that. Visual design, is not captured in wireframes, it is captured in mockups, and in a typical prototype, again, it will be captured. What is interactivity? So interactivity is, this is interactivity. If I move my cursor here, see there is a color change. The icons change in color. They have a different color background. All this is interactivity. So even before we build the software, when we build a prototype, this kind of interactivity may be displayed on mouse over, color change, dialog box. So if you build a prototype, your prototype may resemble the final software in a manner that the person may be able to interact with the software. So prototypes demonstrate interactivity. Let us understand how prototypes are how you are able to have a better view of the software which is going to come up with the prototype. This is a video capture of the Rework website. So this is in fact not a prototype, but I have recorded the video for a website. But if you prepare a high fidelity prototype for your client, your high fidelity prototype may look very similar to the final website. So I run this video for you. Just have a look. So I show this video just to demonstrate to you what I mean by interactivity. So the images when they are sliding, this is interactivity. So this won't be there in a wireframe or a mockup. When we bring the cursor to the top banner or the top menu, there is a drop down. That is interactivity. We can choose colors. We can have a slider for price. All this is interactivity. So in a prototype, interactivity will also be displayed. So prototyping involves higher cost, higher amount of skill. So it depends whether you would like to skip wireframing or mockup and jump direct to prototypes. That's not the case. Depending upon the project, depending upon the scope of the project, depending on the budget of the project, you may choose either one output or all the three outputs. So how do we prepare a wireframe? Core concept. So that is the UI, user interface design process. Empathy for the end user. Our ability to appreciate the goals of the end user, the user persona. Knowledge of the process steps. Tools knowledge. Say a tool like Visio, Balsamiq, Adobe XD, UX Pen, etc. You must have passion, emotion, creativity, can-do attitude. There are individuals who are very good on the UI side, who are very good on the sketching art side. For them, this comes naturally. There may be some other individuals who might not have taken up these activities while they were in school or while they were in college. Maybe they spent more of their time learning, say, skills like mathematics, calculus, and all, just like my case. But even those individuals can improve upon this area if they are a bit diligent, if they observe, and if they learn with some hard work and with some passion. Time management is also important. You do not have unlimited time on projects, and always follow the UI design phases like research, information architecture, visual design, and delivery. So this is the essential skill. Now I think it is time that we should move on to actual hands-on activity wherein we will understand the Balsamiq user interface and we will come up with some outputs so that you have confidence that you will be able to take up this activity when that day comes. So we will start with Balsamiq, and after Balsamiq, we will take up, once we are a bit familiar with the Balsamiq UI, we will move on, and we will move on to prepare some wireframes hands-on right away, right here, right in this session. But before I take you to the phase 2 of this lecture or this webinar, let me see if there are any questions which you have with you. Just raise your hand, and all those who would have raised hands, I will try to talk to 1, 2, or 3 of you. So Ashok, please be ready. I am going to unmute you since you have raised your hand. Manish, I am going to unmute you after Ashok. And Vatsalya, I will unmute you as well. So I'll take up questions from 3 of you, and I hope the questions which you put up are relevant for other individuals as well. So Ashok, I'm unmuting you now. Please put up your question.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. This is Ashok from Pune. I just want to know, is any link available for Balsamiq practical videos? That would be great.
Balsamiq practical, you see, do you have Balsamiq with you?
No, I don't have any videos.
So please, you see, this is the Balsamiq website, www.balsamiq.com.
Yes.
You can come to this website. On this website, you see, so many resources are available. You can download a 30-day trial of Balsamiq from here, www.balsamiq.com/download. Depending upon a Windows machine or a Mac, whatever you are using, you can download the appropriate version. Then, as I may guess you are asking for more resources, there is this area, yes. Learn to Wireframe. Here, there is this Balsamiq Wireframing Academy. There are so many videos, few organized courses. You can go through them. So resources are more than many, and resources are in such quantum that if you are able to complete even a portion of it, you will be an experienced wireframe professional, an experienced business analyst, or a product manager. What is your current role?
Currently my role is analyst, financial
business
analyst.
Financial analyst.
Yes, I'm working with the investment bank.
Yeah, with which bank?
The bank name called as Bank of New York Mellon.
Bank of New York Mellon. Okay. So since you are living in such an inspiring city, which is Pune, I know bankers, people working in automobile companies, almost everyone out there, or maybe almost every second person out there who is a professional aspires to become a product manager or become a business analyst. As I interact with so many individuals, I do not know about your case, but since you are interested in wireframing, maybe you are interested on the product side also. And we know, yes, we require people who have, these core skills, and also who are aware of the domain like banking or insurance, etc.
Yes.
So I hope this, whatever I have shown to you, answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. And even after the webinar, you can, if you wish, you and anyone else, you can communicate with me on this number over WhatsApp.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok. I'm checking other raised hands. So Manish, please be ready. I have unmuted you. Please speak now. So Vatsalya, I unmute you now. Yeah, you may speak.
Sir. Yeah, good evening to you, and I really appreciate the efforts that you're taking to help us out. So, continuing with my question, it is related to the question that I asked earlier. So
Yeah.
basically, when I do wireframing, there are certain functionalities which are quite unique, and my product owner or the people from the higher management who deals directly with the client tells me that go find some references over the internet. But those
Yeah.
requirements are so unique that you cannot find the references even on Google or somewhere else, or anywhere at all. So I have to scratch my own itch and find out a solution. But that solution itself becomes in vain sooner or later, and I face a lot of conflicts among the developers and the clients as well. So how to overcome that? This is again linked to the question that I asked earlier.
Yeah. Okay. So what is your role? Are you a business analyst? Are you
Yeah,
a
yeah.
UI UX expert?
No, I am a functional business analyst. So I have to prepare the wireframes very similar to what you explained all this time. And on the basis of that, I have created my own format where I break down everything on the screen, the UI of the wireframe, actually, the low fidelity wireframe, where I number down everything. Say, for example, number one will be the search bar, number two will be the text area, number three could be the action button, so on and so forth. And I define the functionality, and that makes it very much easier for the developers to read the
Please,
outline functionality and continue
please
development.
Okay. So since you are a business analyst,
Yeah,
your job is to conduct and complete the requirements process. That's your primary responsibility. As you have mentioned, and as I may guess, the primary output which you produce in terms of, you see, to convey requirements to your development team are basically these visual outputs. Am I correct?
yeah, yes,
Oh,
yes.
now if I am a bit theoretical, your job stops where you see wireframe, you produce wireframes. Now these
Mhm.
wireframes do not put the onus or do not put the responsibility of the final UI. Final UI ultimately, that responsibility goes with the UI team or the UI
Okay,
people. If UI people are not there, then the developers should have the should take up this responsibility, because the development team or the technical team is are not there to take the dictation or take what you say in terms of UI. You are a requirements expert. You can mention to them these are the goals, mention or convey in via multiple outputs that these are the goals which are to
Mhm.
be which are to be achieved. Now, how to optimally achieve those goals via a user interface is the job of the development team. And when I say development team here, it means the UI people included. But
Okay,
take it as a positive thing. Positive is, as a business analyst, we work in multiple subject areas. Say one subject area is writing user stories. Yet another subject area is preparing a business process model. Yet another
yeah,
subject area is basically preparing a wireframe. So for sure,
yeah.
we require practice in all these areas. Take it as an opportunity that this experience allows you to become exceptional on the UI UX side, which is a very important area for successful products for big companies like Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google, etc. So all what you do, if expectations are more, and if they expect from you to become so proficient in the UI UX side, I suggest you take up a formal course in this area. Don't worry about the investment, don't worry about the time. All the skills which you will learn, they will remain with you. So that's what I can suggest to you. You can just check upon, there are some UI UX courses offered by Google. You can take them up.
Okay, sir. That's appreciable.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we move ahead, and let me check if there is any other raised hand. And I'll quickly check if there are any written questions. So there is a question from Adarsh. I will read it out. I am working as a business analyst with 4.6 years of experience in teleperformance. Should I continue in the business analyst by enrolling a BA course or go ahead with product management course? Or can you guide me as I am eagerly interested in elevating my career? So Adarsh, since you have 4.6 years of career as a business analyst, I congratulate you that you have this track record. You may not have all the skills which we expect from a business analyst, because business analyst skill set is a very wide skill set. But since you have this track record, you can accelerate your career by joining my business analyst program. I also run a program in product management. So these are two different programs. I think we will require, after this webinar, we may require a one-on-one chat wherein I am able to advise you what suits you better. Hands down, or without even getting into much detail, a BA program in any case will make you a solid professional, because so many core skills you learn in a BA program. So skills like business process modeling, skills like UML, so UML and BPM and frameworks, tools like Jira, Visio, Balsamiq, Vijay Business Process Modeler, Word and SQL we covered there. So you see, if you require solid skills, then a BA program will be better. But I shall not, without talking to you in great detail, I shall not answer that. So let us connect after the webinar. Thank you. So students, we move ahead. Students, participants, friends, don't worry about how I address you. And we are professionals. We are part of the same discipline. We are on the same boat in the same journey. So sometimes, just as there are these words, wireframe, mockup, and a prototype, similarly, I use the word students, friends, participants interchangeably. Please bear with me. So let's start with Balsamiq. So this is the part 2 of our workshop, and as I have promised, I will cover and capture some real outputs so that those of you who are new to this discipline, they have a significant takeaway. So I am opening Balsamiq Wireframes. A bit of anecdote: earlier this software was known as Balsamiq Mockups, but then they would have realized this company is a very honest and a very loving company. That is why you see end users also love it, and a very intuitive software. So as they would have realized, as many would have pointed out, now they have revised the name from Balsamiq Mockups to Balsamiq Wireframes. So this is the user interface for Balsamiq Wireframes. We will take up 2 exercises today. One for preparing a homepage screen, and another for a Apple iPhone, and another one preparing a screen or preparing a browser app for a payments software. So everyone, you would have downloaded Balsamiq by now, balsamiq.com/download. For your benefit, I am again sending it to you. So I request that all of you can follow me here. Some of you as individuals, you may even have some queries related to your career, how you should accelerate your career, how you should progress in your career, what is the right way forward. So all those questions, career related specific and individual questions, I will take up at the end of the webinar. So please wait. And yes, it is my duty to tell you that all of you will get a certificate like this within 24 to 36 hours. So please be attentive, please wait till the end. So you will receive a certificate. I appreciate your participation. So this is the user interface for Balsamiq Wireframes. And I will explain this user interface in detail. Only when I will explain this user interface in detail, then I will basically prepare 2 outputs for you. And all of you, whether you are new to Balsamiq or whether you have been using wireframes earlier, just try to follow me. So Visio is one such software through which you can prepare wireframes. But our focus is on Balsamiq. But those of you who are using Visio, just very quickly, I will show you from the templates wherein you can prepare wireframes. So there are 3 templates which are available within Visio. Because Visio has got one benefit, that you need to go to new, file, new. So this is Visio. Please, no need to get a bit confused. Within software and database, there are these 3 templates. A mobile app, wireframe website, and a wireframe diagram. So if you are to prepare apps, just use this. If you are to prepare e-commerce websites or wireframes of websites, use this template. And this was the traditional wireframe diagram template, which is now very less in use. So, but for now, I close Visio. And we move on to Balsamiq. So when we open Balsamiq, a screen similar to this comes up. The one you see here. Balsamiq is built on Adobe Air platform. So this is the Balsamiq user interface. The navigator panel. And these are the individual wireframes which will come up here. So say if we are building a wireframe for Apple home screen, I may write iPhone here. And this is the quick search area. And just I'll do a double click. So if now you can see, this is the navigator panel or the navigation pane or the navigation window. On the top is the toolbar. This is the toolbar. And in the toolbar, this quick add is a very important area from where we identify the widgets or elements. Wherever you may be, if you press / key on your keyboard, it takes you to the toolbar, the / key. You can try it. The UI library. If you see here, these widgets which are there, they are part of the UI library. So all the widgets or elements related to Android, related to assets. Now assets area is blank right now. So assets are custom built images which you may use for your Balsamiq project. So for this, what you need to do, let us say if you have a logo for your company, if there is a particular image which you would like to use in your Balsamiq project, which is not available in the widget library, something very specific to your company or your client. So that image you can import here, something like this. Say, view assets here, then import asset from file, something like this. Okay, on desktop we have this. Say I may use somewhere this image, so I am just importing it now. Now what I am doing, I am back to wireframes. Now you can see on assets this image is available here. Earlier assets area was blank. Big, so all the browser window, iPhones, so widgets which are a bit big. Buttons, so buttons which you may use for your project, some common elements, etc. We will come back to this again while we will build our outputs. So this is the UI library. The canvas or the diagramming area. It is this canvas or the diagramming area where you place your widgets or where you come up with the final user interface, and no programming required. If you are a solution consultant, a business analyst, a product manager, a requirements expert, a UI UX professional, programming skills are not required to come up with wireframes. So this is the canvas or the diagramming area. Properties panel or the inspector. I'll show this to you. So we are here. If we select an element or a widget, and if we click on this eye here, which is the inspector, properties of this particular widget will be shown. So what is the positioning? What is the size? Model of the iPhone? And Balsamiq is this intuitive. See here. What I am doing, I am choosing a different model. Orientation. So Balsamiq is this intuitive. Okay, let's move ahead. This is the properties panel. So you will select a widget, and if you are to work with properties, you will work here. So now you know what is the navigator panel, the toolbar, the UI library, the canvas, the properties panel. And these are the 5 areas of the editor interface. If you would like to check about the current version of Balsamiq, you can see here about Balsamiq wireframes. Currently it is version 4 point something, 4.4.1. You may be on the same version, and you could see this is a relatively new software, 2008 to 2022. So 2008 was the year when it got introduced in the market. Balsamiq is available as a desktop edition for Windows or Mac. It is available as a software as a service version. It is an add-on to Jira. It is available as an add-on to Confluence. You may be knowing that Jira and Confluence are trailblazer and very successful products from Atlassian company. So Jira is a project tracking software, and Confluence is a software wherein you see software teams can share knowledge, can communicate with each other while working on a project. So a Balsamiq project will have multiple wireframes, just like this. See here, this is one wireframe. If I press on this plus sign here, or if I utilize Control plus Shift or N, a new wireframe will be added up here. And this is the navigator panel. And you can see your wireframes in the navigator view or in the thumbnail view. This is the thumbnail grid. Now you are seeing it in the thumbnail grid. And here where my cursor is right now, you can view your wireframes in the navigator view. Moving ahead. All those who have been able to download Balsamiq, just send me a yes so that I am aware how many of you are able to follow me. Okay. Application menu, widget library, full screen view. So this is the full screen view. Control plus F. So if we check this here, full screen view. So if you are to demonstrate this to a client, you can use this full screen view. If you press on escape, it will take you to the canvas area or the diagramming area. So now we are aware how to add a new mockup, the thumbnail view, the navigator view, the widget library. Quick add I have shown to you. I will show this to you again. Please see. Wherever you may be, if you press on the / key, it takes you to quick add, where my cursor is right now. Here, let us say if I am to prepare a Apple homepage screen, I have written ICO. So it is showing me relevant widgets or relevant icons. I choose this one, icon and a label. And I drag and drop it here. And whenever you see you work because sometimes when you are working on the icon or a widget which is on the top of the other icon, the lower one gets selected. So what I will suggest, you place it somewhere in the middle. You see this line comes up, do a right click and lock that frame. Now this frame is locked. I can still select the icon which I have selected from quick add, and the underlying frame is locked. Presentation mode, now you know UI library is show or hide UI library, which is this one. Hide UI library, show UI library. This is inspector. If you click on I and I have selected this widget or this element, the properties related to this widget or element will be shown here. This is a very important area because we control the properties of the widget from here. At times we may change the color, at times you see we may add a link, etc. This is project information. And so this information will be common to the whole project. The icon on the right of the inspector, where my cursor is right now, project info. And if we do not select any widget here, let's say nothing is selected, and now if I click on inspector, this is the nodes which are applicable to this wireframe. So this is the notes area for every wireframe. So notes area for the wireframe. So I hope all of you are able to catch up with me as far as the UI, basics of UI for the Balsamiq software is concerned. It is a popular software and very intuitive, very easy to start, and so powerful that you will be able to come up with almost every output, whatever may be in the mind of your mind or in the mind of your client. So let's start and move ahead. Let me check if there are any written questions. If there are any, I'll answer them. Okay. Now positioning and size of widgets. See here, whenever we prepare a wireframe, it has to be well aligned. Icons are to be equi-spaced. They are to be equal in size, similar icons. So for good alignment and for equi-spacing, you need to understand the positioning and sizing of widgets. So see here, I am unlocking this iframe. I take you to the inspector area. So I have selected this frame and this is the inspector. On this inspector, position is being shown as X and Y. Size is basically width and height. So please understand, I take this widget here. Now you can see the position X and Y is 0 and 0. So if I move this widget like this, so X is the relative distance from this vertical line where you see your wireframes or the navigator pane is shown. And if you could see, if I move this wireframe, the Apple iPhone frame a bit down, Y increases. So this is how X and Y are calculated. So this is X, this is Y, this is the width, and the vertical thing is the height. So now you know width, height, X and Y. We will use all this while we will prepare our wireframe. So this concept is to be appreciated. So now I try to put this wireframe in the middle of the canvas, and this vertical line comes up. So it is where it is. Here I'll lock it again. Now my first exercise is to prepare a simple iPhone home screen, and then with that home screen, what I will do, I will attach another page in which we will have a logon screen. So as you may guess, this home screen will have multiple icons. So I have already chosen, I'll delete this. I'll delete this and I'll tell you from where I have obtained it. So I choose icon and a label like this. I'm going to delete this. You can use Ctrl+D to duplicate the icon. I have selected this icon. I am pressing Ctrl+D. I have duplicated it. Again, I'll press Ctrl+D. Now all these icons are to be in horizontal perfect alignment. 254, you can, y, then it means if you know, if you utilize your basics of coordinate geometry, y is to be same, 217, 217 and 217, y is same. Now what I will do, I will select all these three together, and here there is option for space out horizontally. So they are to be equispaced. So distance between the two with respect to the middle one has to be same. Just okay. I put the middle one exactly in the middle, and I'll equispace them again. Now what I will do, I'll select all of them. I'll group them, Ctrl+G and Ctrl+D again. Okay, Ctrl+D again. And Ctrl+D again. So as I could see quickly, since these are grouped, the horizontal alignment is fine. Vertically, they have to be equispaced. So what I do, I select them now like this. It is taking some time to respond. To escape. Okay. I need to unlock this group. Once I deselect group. Okay. Just a minute. Ungroup. This is ungroup. So now I have ungrouped them. Ungroup again. ungroup here. So horizontal alignment is fine. Now I need to log this again. So the mouse is playing a bit truant, but doesn't matter. It happens. Ungroup. This is yet to be. Okay. So what I am doing, we have placed them horizontally in a perfect manner. We need to ensure that the vertically the distance is also the same. So I deleted that entire group. Space out vertically for all of them. Quickly, we need to check the X and Y. Y is 217, 217, and 217. 329, 329, and 329. 441, 441, and 441. 553, 553, and 553. So you see, Y's are in perfect alignment. Similarly, X will be same for all these. 254, 254, and 254. Again 254. I hope you are able to see this. For the X, we require equal size, equal space, and well aligned. So that is what we need. Now our home screen is ready. We will quickly prepare a logon screen here. So again, we will add an iPhone. You could have duplicated it earlier, even that would have been better. And here we will prepare a logon screen. So for that, we require a label. So all what you individuals require, you should have a bit of background of which icon is to be, which widget is to be used. So say, for example, where label is to be used, where text area is to be used. I will demonstrate some more widgets in my next practical, which is basically preparing a low fidelity mockup or a colored output for a payments website, which we will take up after this. So a label, something like this, we put it here. Say and here, if you can see, when we have selected the widget, we can, in the inspector area, we can say provide, choose the text color. If you can see, we can choose the font. Say then I duplicate this label, Control plus D, ensure that alignment is there, and I use, say, password. And then we use text input. Yeah, text input like this. Again, Control plus D. Now we require a button for submit. So you can see very intuitively using this area wherein we are able to identify or find the widgets. You just utilize your basic skills or basic knowledge. You can build your wireframe. So submit. This is here. And say yet another label for something like this. Forget password. You can change the text color. So here you can see the X and Y for both of them 399 by 390 size is same, 219 by 27, and again 219 by 27, 390. So I make this 390 again. Y will be different. So this is how. Now we need to link these two mockups. So to link, all what you need to do, mockups of wireframes, select a widget, and then there is a option wherein you can prepare a hyperlink. Link to, mine is new wireframe 2, link to new wireframe 2. Now what we have done, we have prepared two wireframes, we have linked them. You can keep on building your wireframe or your mobile app in this manner. See here on the full screen view, new wireframe 2, and we come here. So we are now done with our first exercise wherein we have prepared an iPhone home screen and we have linked in with the logon page. And it is as easy as this, as intuitive as this. Let me check if there are any questions, and then we will move on to our second exercise wherein we will prepare a low fidelity wireframe or a mockup, or basically a wireframe wherein we would like to provide some color. Anyone, any questions? You may raise your hand now before we move on to next exercise. Okay, so we move ahead, and now we take yet another project. So I save this project, let us say, and I'll open a new project again. I save this file, new project. Herein what we will do, we will prepare a colored wireframe, and we will try to add some color, wherein we will prepare a mockup or a wireframe for a website. So we start with the containers this time. In the container, here is this rectangle. I will use this rectangle for the top banner for the website or the web portal. I'll make it a bit big. And we give it a color white. We add one more rectangle. So 3 different areas for our portal. And in the inspectors area, say we give it a color blue like this, or maybe a color like this. Yet another rectangle for the bottom portion. Say our client is someone who's into payments business, and now the client has told us that individuals, businesses, partners will interact with us through this page, and we will provide some, to any visitor we will provide some info. So maybe we start with a logo. So I am writing logo here. So I got this Pied Piper logo. I might have used, you see the actual logo of the client also. So just for illustration, I'm using this logo. And say we add a label for label say our client is the legendary PayPal company. And in the inspector, you can again, you can control the color, you can control the, so I change the text color to white, but white will not work here because the background is also white. So I change it to black. I increase the font size to 18. Now, as the client has told me, on this web page, individuals, businesses, and partners will interact with us. So I add some more labels. What I do, I just do a Control D here. And with the same alignment, I use individuals, Control D again, business, partners. Say there is one more area which is useful info or info. And there is a button for login and there is a button for sign up. So now I need to choose a button. And buttons are available here also. We can use it from here. Say I use this button. Say login. I stretch it a bit. Provide some color to this button. And yet another button which is say control. So as you discuss your requirements with the client, you can basically come up with these outputs. And now as the client or as other stakeholders or as your team members will see this output, they will provide the feedback and you can revise the wireframe. Hey, these menus will open up. So I use this angle down here. Something like this. So if I click, if anyone clicks on individual, some menu will open up. And in the inspector, you can see you can choose the size so intuitively. X small. So I have chosen the size as small. Let me try extra small. So even this is even better. Or say I go with this one. Now you can see how we can quickly alter the properties of a given widget using the widget inspector panel or the properties panel. So this is how my output looks like now. And say there is yet another tagline. Say this tagline here is, you take care of your loved ones in let us try some text color. We increase the font size, say to 40. Or say we will take care of your payments. We need to ensure a good alignment. You can see how our wireframe is coming up. Something like this. Maybe we require a bit more space here. let's say there are 4 images for these areas to come up, say individual business partners and info. So what we will do, we will use an image, add an image placeholder for these 4 images. Do a Control plus D, Control plus D again, Control plus D again. We will control. We try to align them. We can even align them using the inspector, using X and Y. So Y is 384, 384, 384, and so this I'll change to 384 here. And we select all of them together. See, so this is how so quickly and so intuitively you can start to build your wireframe. And with this, you can convey the information to your client of how the final application may look like. So this is not going to be the exact view of the final application, but it gives an idea or a glimpse. And this idea is subject to revision. So with this, since we have taken almost 2 hours to come up to this stage, I will stop the session and the lecture here, and we will open the session for any kind of question, observation, discussion, and comment. And at this point in the webinar, I welcome you for any individual question which is related to your career and career progression as well. As you are aware that out here at QBI Institute, wherein I am the principal trainer and the principal consultant, we run programs in business analysis, Scrum, product management, and domain trainings like payments, insurance, BFSI, etc. We are having programs every month. In fact, next month, second Saturday and second Sunday, we are starting programs on business analysis and on product management. So first focus will be on wireframes and mockups, which we covered here in the webinar. And then second is any individual question related to your career progression, and the career acceleration. So I open the class and I will open the webinar for individual questions and discussions. All of you are welcome to speak. You can write your question or you can raise your hand. So a question from Gaurav. I am starting out my career as a BA. Do I need to do CSM, PSM, or it is not needed? So Gaurav, since you are starting out as a career as a BA, as a business analyst, you are expected to possess multiple skills. So Scrum is also an important skill because the project will move on a Scrum framework. However, that does not mean that you need to acquire a certified Scrum Master or a professional Scrum Master certificate. In fact, when you work as a business analyst, your work is more aligned with that of a product owner. But even for that, I do not say that a product owner certification is a must. First, you need to be good and solid in your skills. Since you are already in the business analyst role, if you fortify your skills, your career will be second to none. So not mandatory. Who else? So Kiran is asking me, when is the new payments domain training workshop would be held? So Kiran, you may connect with me. We have a recorded on-demand training sessions for payment, which you can join even today. Other than that, we are planning a live online session also next month. So I suggest you connect with me or anyone else on this number 9810055734, and I will be able to address your requirements. So again, someone is asking me whether I should go for a PSM, PSPO, CSM, or a CSPO certificate. So this question, so if you are good on Scrum skills, say if you can write a good user story, if you can participate in retrospectives. So my question to you will be that CSM or CSPO is not the end objective. End objective is whether can you write good requirements? Can you prepare business process models? Do you know UML? Are you proficient in BPMN? So there are more than many skills. Don't get fixated on one certificate or another. Try to chart out the core set of skills wherein you should be excellent. And they will be different for different individuals, because overnight you can't learn all the areas which we expect from a product manager or a business analyst. So certifications are not mandatory, but yes, skills are. Another question from Ishika. I am a BA from 3 years of experience and have got opportunity to work as a functional BA. Is it necessary to have technical skills also like R, Python, etc.? So as a business analyst or as a functional business analyst, your focus is on the requirements part. So you own the requirements activity. The technical areas or programming languages like R, Python, etc. are more focused towards the business analytics side. So they are a different skill set. Having said that, what you can do, if you are good in the requirements documentation, requirements modeling, wireframing, or requirements visualization and project tracking areas, Scrum, etc., and if you want to widen your skill set, you can start with a requirements visualization software like Tableau or Power BI to start with. If you would like to focus on the requirements part, or if you would like to stick here. Otherwise, if you want to venture into the area that is analytics, or if you would like to become an analytics programmer, you can learn R or Python. So in IT industry, you see, today you have 3 years of experience. You need to prioritize what you need to learn first and what is your focus. Could you kindly share the PPT that you used while explaining the tool? So I would try to do that. In any case, this learning video will be available to you. Let me see if there are any raised hands. So anyone, any question? If you would like to speak to me, you can raise your hand now. Okay, so dear participants, thank you for participating in this webinar. Your participation has made this webinar rich and interactive. To repeat again, wireframes are a very important skill, and if you are to successfully act as a product manager, or if you are to successfully act as a business analyst or a requirements expert, this is what you need. In addition to, of course, so many other skills which you already know. So we stop here. You can communicate with me over WhatsApp or telephone. I am available to you so long as we discuss, you see, business analysis, product management, or career related things. I have good enough time. to guide you and to help you out in that area. Thank you, and we meet again some other day, some other time. Bye-bye. And in another 24 to 36 hours, you will get your certificate on your email. Do share that certificate on LinkedIn because recruiters are looking at you, and do tag me as well. I look forward to that. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. I close the session.